Coming up in this episode, we catch up with the NRL scorers and scorelines from the weekend just gone. We talk about Josh McGUIRE and rumours from Australia about his time at Warrington. And Wakefield subject to a takeover bid. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. I am back, I've got a video up, and it's at a respectable time once again, and hopefully I'll keep that trend going. So what is this episode consisting of? Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the NRL, as there was a weekend full of fixtures after Origin, and there have been some teams with the Origin competitors involved, or late call-ups, or even losing their Origin players for the rest of the Origin series. We'll talk about that as they come by. So, who were the games involving? Well, Friday was the opening game of the weekend, where we saw the West Tigers versus Canberra Raiders, before Saturday saw 3 games with the New Zealand Warriors versus the Dolphins, Gold Coast Titans in a rare Saturday game playing the South Sydney Rabbitohs, while the Cronulla Sharks took on the Brisbane Broncos. On Sunday, we saw the Roosters face off against the Bulldogs, the Cowboys versus the Storm, and the fixtures closed out with the Sunday game closing up being between Penrith Panthers and St George Illawarra Dragons. The Eels, Knights and Seagulls all got a bye this weekend. The Tigers were unlucky in defeat against the Canberra Raiders as they lost a heartbreaker 20 points to 19. It was a bit of a controversial finish in favour of the Raiders, as Jamal Fogarty was issued a penalty which he slotted over for a late kick as the Raiders went for a 1-pointer to tie up the game late in the match. But that wasn't the story of the full game, as Jamal Fogarty actually went over for the opening try and Jordan Rapana doubled it up as the Raiders went over for 2 tries to none in the first half, with Jamal Fogarty kicking over 2 conversions for a 12-0 lead. Fogarty then was at the fore once more as he scored on the 48th minute, and he converted it with an 18 points to 0 lead going up to the final 12 minutes. Jarryn Buller went over on the 68th minute. After that, John Bateman and Bryden Wakeham got on the scoreboard themselves with 3 tries in 4 minutes, which must have had Ricky Stewart tearing his hair out. Those tries were all converted and it was 18-all, but it was Luke Brooks on the 75th minute that got the lead for West Tigers for the first time. But Fogarty slotted over that penalty, which he got after a drop goal attempt was attempted to be charged down by a West Tigers player, but hit the drop goaler's legs on the follow through. And you can't contact that low on the legs anymore, even if it's accidental. West Tigers didn't deserve to lose, but they did, 20 points to 19. Our next game saw the New Zealanders come out with a dominant win, 30 points to 8 over the new franchise Dolphins. Sean Johnson rolled back the years with 2 tries and 5 conversions from 5 over the whole match. He opened the scoring, but Tessa New added a try for a 6 points to 4 half-time scoreline, as Johnson was the opening try scorer and he added the conversion, while Dolphins were off with the kicking all night. Then the Warriors scored 4 tries back to back as Johnson got his second, Luke Metcalf, and 2 tries, 1 an interception try from Dalin Watani-Zalesniak. Jermaine Izako got the final points on the board for the Dolphins and for the game, but it was a Warriors day. The Dolphins did have Anthony Milford sent to the sin bin on the 47th minute, which did not help matters either. The Warriors move on. See how far up the table they went at the end of the reports. Next we come to the Saturday games, and first of all it's Gold Coast Titans versus Rabbitohs, and it was the Bunnies that came out 46 points to 28 victors, despite trailing 22 points to 16 at half time. The Titans were fast starting again as Isaac Fasamalawe went over for the opening try, but Dion Kolamatangi scored on the 13th minute after Chris Randall had put the Titans further ahead, 12 points to 6. Alex Johnson got a double not longer after that, either side of an Alafina Carperera try on the 21st minute. The final try of the half came to Jojo Fafita, who scored on the 39th minute to give that 22 points to 16 half-time scoreline. But the Bunnies were relentless in the second half after Campbell Graham scored on the 43rd minute, Johnson completed his hat-trick on the 47th minute, before Cody Walker scored on the 55th minute, which took all the steam out of the Titans. Richard Kenner got another try out for the Bunnies soon on the 72nd minute, soon after a Blake Taft penalty, put the game basically out of the Titans' hands. Ame Sella went over on the 75th minute for the final Rabbitohs score before Tino Fasamalawe bookended with his brother the 28 points that the Titans put out. The fast starting Titans faded yet again. They could have been joint top if they had won all the games that they had lost after taking the lead into half time. Next we come to the war that was the Sharks versus the Broncos, not in a dirty sense, as in tough tackling, fair battles. Yes, there were penalties, but hey ho, this was a 12 points to 20 game in favour of the Broncos, who came out victorious. Tony Staggs scored on the 5th minute, which was cancelled out by CSC for Talakai on the 21st minute. But Ezra Mam and Jesse Arthurs got a try apiece for a 14 points to 6 half-time scoreline, as Adam Reynolds only converted 1 from 3 in that first half. After Herbie Farnworth, who was having the best of days when it came to being attacked by the right edge of the Sharks, scored a try and Adam Reynolds converted, it was left to William Kennedy to go over as the fullback, who was having a wow of a year. Continues to his rich scoring vein for the Sharks. Nico Hines, who is probably looking towards Origin, got 2 conversions for the 12 points for the Sharks. But the Broncos came out with a win. This is where we open up Sunday's games, as the Roosters had a close one against the Bulldogs, 25 points to 24. And the Luke Keary drop goal in the 74th minute was the winning points for the two teams in the Roosters' favour. Tavita Pangai Jr. scored on the 11th minute, which was followed up by Reid Mahoney on the 14th minute for a 12 points to 0 lead after Matt Burton had converted. But James Tedesco followed that up with 2 tries of his own in that first half for a 12-all half-time lead scoreline, as Joseph Suali'i put the 2 conversions over the black dot in the middle of the post. It was the same sort of affair again. This time it was a Josh Adokar double for the Bulldogs, either side a Junior Poga try on the 50th minute, which gave the Bulldogs the lead once more. But Suali'i got over for a try of his own and converted the 2 tries for 24 all, before Luke Keary was the successful one out of the 2 attempts to win the game, and with their extra point during open play. The Roosters come away with a much needed win, 25 points to 24. And it was a much needed win for the Cowboys as they beat the Storm 45 points to 20 at Townsville. The Queensbank Country Bank Stadium saw Semi Valame go over twice in the opening 10 minutes before Xavier Coates scored on the 22nd minute. Valentine Holmes got his try on the 29th minute before Justin Olam equalised, got a try on the board for the Storm to give it a better look going into half-time thanks to Nick Meaney's penalty on the 39th minute. And Valentine Holmes only converted one of his 3 attempts in the first half, while Meaney was 2 from 2. Chad Townsend closed the game with a drop goal on the 77th minute to put the gloss on the Cowboys win, but apart from a Nick Meaney try on the 57th minute and him converting that try, it was the Cowboys who were impressive. Valame got his hat-trick on the 43rd minute before Murray Talagi got a double on the 52nd and the 60th minute. Jeremiah Nane, despite getting the hit of the weekend by Justin Olam causing on him, he scored on the 64th minute, Nane, to give another try to the rampant Cowboys. Chad Townsend got a try on the 71st minute to get the final 4-pointer of the game. Valentine Holmes found his boots in the second half, where he converted 5 from 5, with a figure of 6 from 8 for the entire match. It was a Cowboys win, 45 points to 20. And then the closing game of the weekend saw the Panthers come out victorious over the Dragons, 26 points to 18. Brian Toto and Michele Ravalawa were traded 2 tries apiece in the first half. But in between the two getting their first try, so 6 all, it was bad news for the New South Wales Blues and also Penrith Panthers, as Nathan Cleary ended up going off the pitch due to a hamstring problem, which was later confirmed to seem out of Origin 2 and 3. 12 all at half time, thanks to a Zach Lomax penalty. 2 penalties as he couldn't convert in the first half, and also Stephen Crichton and Nathan Cleary adding extras to Toto's 2 tries. It was going to go to the wire, we thought, but Sunai Taruva got the opening try of the second half on the 59th minute before Zach Lomax climbed above everyone else on the 65th minute, which he duly converted. But it was Moses Leota given the freedom of the right-hand side of the Dragons' defence to go through untouched on the right side of the defence. He was touched, but he bounced and rolled over to score the 70-minute try. The final bit of business, Stephen Crichton got a penalty on the 79th minute, which he slotted over for a 26 points to 18 victory in favour of the Panthers. And with that, here is the NRL ladder for the end of round 14, where we see Penrith Panthers joining the Brisbane Broncos on 20 points at the top of the table, with the Rabbitohs, the Sharks, Melbourne Storm, Canberra Raiders, and them 4 all on 18 points, followed up by the New Zealand Warriors, then the Dolphins, and Sydney Roosters on 16 points apiece for those 3 teams. Manly Seagulls and Newcastle Knights are both on 15 points as the Knights climb up the table. Parramatta Eels are on 14 points with Gold Coast Titans, who actually dropped down the table after another second half collapse. North Queensland Cowboys climb up the table to 12th above Canterbury Bulldogs after the Bulldogs lost a heartbreaker, as the West Tigers dropped down a place as well as they lost another heartbreaker. Due to the bye, St George Illawarra Dragons, due to their loss, St George Illawarra Dragons stay put to the table with 8 points. So we brought you news last week that Josh McGUIRE of Warrington Wolves could be set for another disciplinary hearing and another lengthy suspension after it was confirmed that he will face a disciplinary hearing sometime today. Having been referred for further investigation last week after a report of unacceptable language was made during the Warrington Wolves' defeat at Leigh Leopards last week, the Australian forward has now been handed a Grade F charge following this week's match review panel sitting. McGUIRE's case will now be heard by the Operational Rules Tribunal, and if found guilty, he will be facing a second long ban of the year. It's been the second time the former Queensland, Samoa and Australia representative has been charged with using unacceptable language against Leigh this year. He was banned for 7 matches after being sent off against the Leopards during Ben Curry's testimonial match. The usual banning range for a Grade F charge is a minimum of 6 matches, but given that this would be McGUIRE's second offence, it's likely to be a much longer suspension this time around. Since returning from his first suspension, McGUIRE has faced opponents in Primrose and Blue 7 times this season and had to miss Magic Weekend due to a knee injury, not due to the suspension protocols. But he goes in front of the Operations Tribunal. But also, there is murmurings coming from Australia that the Wolves are reportedly set to sack McGUIRE on disciplinary grounds, though this rumour is a little bit unfounded at this point. But this is according to the mole at the Worldwide of Sports, who claims McGUIRE's contract is set to be terminated ahead of the tribunal, where the former NRL forward defends himself against the derogatory comments he allegedly made towards Leigh's Josh Charnley during Warrington's 30-12 loss to the Leopards. According to the mole and what was written in his post, the tough prop switch to Warrington has not been the success, and the Wolves are believed to be on the verge of terminating his contract on disciplinary grounds. This might be a little bit premature in my opinion, as Warrington have had players in the past that have faced lengthy bans and have not up to 7 times straight away. They've used these indiscretions, shall we put it, to put players on the right path. I think that is just a snap hazard discussion that's been happening in Australia. So that tomorrow that we were talking about was actually today, with Josh McGUIRE now set to face a 12-match suspension and a fine of £1,000 for being found guilty of a Grade F charge of unacceptable language in the Betfred Super League fixture at Leigh Leopards on May the 26th, the RFL statement says. McGUIRE, who pleaded not guilty, has already served a 7-match suspension this season after being found guilty of a Grade F charge of unacceptable language in Warrington's pre-season fixture. On that occasion, he was also fined £1,000 and required to take mandatory education. The Independent Operation Rules Tribunal was chaired by His Honour Judge John Thackeray QC and 2 former professional players as side members. So he's got 12 matches, boost up of 5 matches since compared to the 7 that he has gone through already. Is this a harsh punishment? You tell me in the comment section below. And we now turn our attentions to Wakefield Trinity, as there's been murmurings about a proposed takeover of the club. And according to reports in Yorkshire Live and Rugby League Live, the proposed takeover has taken a significant step forward after heads of the terms were agreed with the prospective new owners of the club. Rugby League Live understands the agreement has been reached, which will now see the due diligences commence. And it is hoped that the deal could be wrapped up within the next 4 weeks, which would see the club embark on a new era off the field at the time when they face a crucial period on it. When contacting the club for comment, Wakefield CEO Michael Carter told Rugby League Live, "Whilst I can confirm the club have had two separate approaches regarding taking over the club, I'm not going into any specific details at this stage. What I would reiterate is that the current shareholders are united that should a person or persons wish to take over the club and can demonstrate that they are capable of taking it on to bigger and better things, then the shareholders will not stand in the way, nor would they seek any form of payment for shares or any repayment of substantial director loans they currently own. There is also no desire to hold on to the community stadium, the new community stadium that the shareholders have finally managed to deliver after 10 years of hard work, contrary to the malicious rumours that are currently circulating. Wakefield are currently bottom of the Super League after losing the first 14 games of their season. In August, the club's new stand is set to be completed and is expected to generate substantial revenue for the club, while the new hybrid pitch installed will provide the club with another income stream. Collectively, it is hoped the revenue generated will allow the club to spend more money in the future. Back in May, Carter told Sky Sports, "We need to earn more money out of this pitch. We forecasted to earn £100,000 a year out of the pitch. Our forecast to earn out of that new stand is £500,000 a year. That would fuel us to spend to the salary cap, and that's always been the ultimate aim. We are where we are. We're fighting like hell to stay up, but we've got plans in place if the worst happens. We do bounce back." Some interesting claims there from the Wakefield bosses. Hopefully they are able to get this over the line. If a takeover comes through and the team goes on to those bigger and better things what they're hoping for, they could be a force. Their academy is quite good. They keep bringing through players or developing players that have been discarded from other clubs to make them into good players. We'll have to see if anything happens and if they can get out of the situation, how desperately unlikely it may be. Off the field, Wakefield are making decent strides on three parts of the stadium. 4 actually. The TV cameras stay on that side, be able to tell anything but a decent venue for rugby league has been put into place. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, and also click that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as it's open for business and you and me can have a civil discourse. Please be respectful. Tell me what your thoughts are on the stories and which of the NRL games piqued your interest. Who was your game of the week? Come on, get involved. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide, and I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the very best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.